Today's guest is Darlene Hawley. She is a recovering procrastinator and loves to teach others on how to take steps every day to reach their goals. She is a speaker, a podcast host, personal branding, and online business coach that shows ambition and heart-centered coaching. Darlene has such genuinity in our conversations. We talk about the cure on comparisonitis, amongst other things. Please give a warm welcome to ever-blessed Darlene Hawley.
Really know. I knew I wanted something different, but I didn't actually know what that looked like, right? Like I knew that there was something more out there. And I remember getting somebody reached out to me from a business coaching franchise. And I was like, what the heck is a business coaching franchise? I was like, yeah, sure. I'll entertain the conversation. I'm like, it'll be really good for me to practice interviewing because I was used to interviewing other people in retail management, especially with like in my position, I did all the HR and training and hiring and firing and all that fun stuff. So I was like, oh, it'll be good practice. I'll just do this interview and see what happens. And so this is the very first interview that I did. And as I was on the phone call with the lady that I was interviewing with, I was completely taken back. I was like, oh my gosh, everything that you're saying sounds like in perfect alignment with who I am and kind of how I've led my life. Because if I looked back at my career in retail, my favorite part of it was the coaching, helping my employees figure out what they wanted to do with inside the organization, helping them create action plans to get promoted or to work their way up or to find a job inside of another company sometimes. And then when I look back at like high school and junior high, I was always that friend that everybody came to for advice. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've been coaching this whole entire time, but I had no context for it. I didn't have a word for what that was because I didn't know what coaching was. And still, even around that time, most people didn't know what a coach was. Like they knew what a sports coach was, but they didn't really know what like a business coach was, or life coaching wasn't really, it was starting to be a thing, but it wasn't something that was part of our everyday vocabulary like it is now. And so during that interview process, I was like, yep, this is for me. I was like, I totally want to buy a franchise and become a business coach. It was totally out of left field, not what I was looking for whatsoever. But I ended up deciding to go. I feel like standing out online is really wrapped up in showing up and sharing your story. So I kind of alluded to that a little bit when I was just sharing a minute ago. But the more we share story in our messaging, the easier it is for us to be able to relate and connect with each other. And oftentimes when we share stories, people are not going to have had the same experiences as we have had, but they'll be able to relate because they can see themselves in the journey. So like when I shared part of my story that I was a teen mom and I was working retail management 60 plus hours a week and I was overwhelmed and exhausted. Not everybody who's listening right now was a teen mom. I know Jasmine and I were, but not everybody is a teen mom, right? So you might not connect or resonate to that part. But a lot of the people that I work with and that I get to meet, that I'm lucky enough to meet, have had similar experiences. They see themselves in that story because they're like, yeah, that was me too. They might not have been a teen parent or even have had kids. Sometimes my clients will say like, I don't even have kids, but I remember being overwhelmed and exhausted and I don't want that anymore.
Thank you for listening to Noise Palooza Zion podcast. And if you enjoy listening to my podcast, please don't hesitate to give me a 5-star rating on Apple or Spotify. Also wanted to give a shout out and thank you so much to all my guests, past, present, and future. And stay tuned for the next upcoming episode on Fridays.